All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Theology with Puppies. If you happen to like this material, remember to like, share, and subscribe. I am joined with Maya, and I chose to do this video with Maya because Maya was recently memed, okay? And they used Maya to meme a female colleague of mine. It was pretty gross. It's pretty immature. You know, maybe the reason why you've never had a girlfriend in 21 years is because you treat women like dirt. So maybe you should treat women better, and maybe they'll like you, okay? This one likes me. You're just a good girl. So that being said, I'm going to talk about being because it seems like no one really understands what being is, and that it's rather confusing, right? So this came about mainly under this thing that recently happened where people are saying, well, the energy of God isn't beyond being, and only the essence is beyond being. Okay, so that creates two gods, it creates two sources in God, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, if the energy of God is the source of being, and it's being itself, and it is not beyond being, then the energy is its own source. The being is its own source. Being is its own source of being. That's just nonsense. So in order for the energy to be the source of being, it must be beyond being. Okay. And so let's talk about what we mean by being. Okay. And so I have Maya here to talk about what it is that being is. Okay. Maya is a being. I'm also a being. You know what's also a being? This rock is a being. This cross is being, okay? This chopstick, that's being, right? And so if we were to describe how Maya is different from other dogs, we would first describe, how she's different from other dogs. She's black, she's a Chihuahua, they're white, they're a husky or whatever. If we were to describe how dogs are different from humans, we would do roughly the same thing, right? We'd say, well, this is a dog, this is a human, this is circumscription, this is that, this is that. But how do you differentiate being from being, right? Maya is wholly being. She is a whole being. So is this rock. This rock is whole being. They both exist, right? They're being. This cross, total being, whole being. It's as much being as I am. So is Maya. Maya is as much being as this cross and that rock. Same thing with this is being. This is being. You're looking at being. It exists. So the question, right, is how do we differentiate being? Everything is everything. We are surrounded by being, okay? And so then we have to understand what being really is. And we get this from St. Dionysius, right? He actually talks about being in this way. And he talks about how to understand being, and it's understood by differentiation. So the reason you can describe, you can see what Maya is, you can talk about what Maya is because she's different. She's different from me. She's different from other dogs, okay? And this differentiation, mainly in the form of her circumscription, that's the main idea, in the form of her circumscription, is what allows her to be seen and to be known, okay? Now, Maya is a sensible object because all being is sensible, okay? That means it is perceivable to the senses. I can smell her, and you smell nice, you just had a bath, didn't you? I can hold her, I can touch her, I can see her, I can hear her, right? Okay. But there are parts of her that I cannot actually perceive through my senses. And the biggest example of that is circumscription, okay? Now, you can measure her dimensions. That's fine. You can represent her circumscription mathematically. You can represent it in some other form. But you're still only intellecting it, right? You're only perceiving her circumscription in your mind. You're not sensibly perceiving her circumscription. And this is why it's called intelligible content or an intelligible, right? So we have sensible content, such as I touch her, I'm feeling her, I can see her, I can hear her, I can smell her, right? That is her sensible content. But then I can also describe her using my mind, such as circumscription, such as black, the color. Color is an intelligible content of an object. It's the thing that separates being from being, right? And by having two things being separated and being differentiated, they actually are unified in their beingness. Does this make sense? Right? If there was no differentiation whatsoever between this cross and Maya, they would be the same thing, and you would not be able to tell the difference, because that's the key, is being able to tell the difference. That's how we know there's being. Differentiation. Okay? And we tell that by sensible content and by intelligible content. And so by being separated, right, first we have to separate. We've talked about this on the cast. The Eucharist, which is the one loaf, has to be separated, and then it is partaken by the whole communion, and then they are united in that communion. So now we are separated first, and then we are brought back together. We are united by separation. So too is all being, by being separated into each individual being, which is holy being, is united by being. Does this make sense what I'm saying? I hope that, if there are any questions, drop them down. I'm happy to go over them. So this comes back to the energy, right? If the energy is the source of that being, it must be beyond that being. It can't be being. Otherwise, there is an energy for me, there's an energy for Maya, all of these things are individual energies, which is just insane. That is insane. Not all of these things are individual energies. There is one energy being, and we all participate in it, right? And that's us, right? We're it, right? Because there's one divine energy, and then it is being. It is being in the sense of Maya is a dog and I'm a human, okay? It's justice in the sense of when we make an ethical a judgment based on volition, a judgment based on ethics, right? So really what I'm trying to get at here is that we have to look at things for what they actually are and not merely how we are perceiving them, right? So the best way for me is to continue harping on this, right? That if you see an individual man who is walking or talking or sleeping or doing some kind of activity, those activities are multiple. You are perceiving a multiplicity of activities. But understanding the man and understanding energy as it is, not as you perceive it, but as it is, right? Understanding the ontological argument, then you would know that, well, there's one energy, right? Understanding that Maya is being, and that I am being, and that this cross is being, and that this rock is being, right? We don't understand that there are all these different energies, right, of being, all these different sources. There's one source. And we understand that the reason that there is a multiplicity is because of differentiation. So this is no longer are we merely allowing ourselves to be dictated by our fallen irrational mind of, oh, this is different, this is different, this is different, so they're all different things, right? That's actually very pagan. Well, there's the energy of the sun, there's the energy of the moon, they must be different gods. There's the energy of the ocean, that's a different god. No. Right. So, and I'm coming up in 10 minutes here, and maybe I'm rambling, I don't know. But I want to finish with this. There is the idea, it's been thrown around that, is creation a different energy than walking on water? And that's not even, this argument is not even applicable, and I'm going to tell you why. Creation is wholly a divine act. It is wholly the divine energy. But walking on water is theandric. So yes, they are different. Because there is absolutely no human element in the creation of the world. There is, however, a human element in Jesus Christ walking on water. Because walking is human, on water is divine. Walking is not a divine act. God cannot walk, he's everywhere. He actually cannot go from point A to point B. He's already there. There's no movement. and he has no body to walk in anyway. So when we hear these arguments, we have to really, really understand the thing as it is in itself, not just how we perceive these things and then make erroneous deductions, right? Let's go to the thing itself. Let's look at the thing itself and think about what it is, about what's going on, instead of projecting our, rational deductions on these things. So, did you like that video? You're a very good girl. Yeah, and also, you might not be single for 21 years if you learn how to treat women better. So, just a little advice from someone almost twice your age and happily married. Peace.